So the last session where we stopped, the last session what we discussed. Hmm? The last session what we discussed. We discussed about exception handling, right? Okay. Tell me, okay, terminology wise, normal termination is nothing but what? Any program if you run, starting to ending, each and every statement got executed, that program you can say like a terminated like normal. Due to some reason, if my program is not execute end to end is nothing but starting to ending, if it is not execute, then the time you can say like a it's like a abnormal termination. Syntax error, when you can get it, if you not follow that particular programming language rules and guidelines, then the time you can get the syntax error or not. Whenever you get the syntax error, okay, my program not start execution, that means it's not run the program. Whenever the compile time errors is nothing but syntax errors and everything is like resolved, then only it go to the next level, then only it is going to execute, then only it is going to run the program. If you observe here, first statement no error, second one, third one, fourth one, these four statements we don't have any errors. But fifth statement if you observe, okay, here this particular string enclosed with start with single quote but the ending is missing, so this is the syntax error or not. Whenever you get the syntax error, first four statements are like valid, there is no syntax errors, so don't think like first four statements are going to execute and then the fifth one is like rise the syntax error, don't think like that. All the statements syntactically valid, then only it is going to run, it is going to execute the statement, it is going to run the statements. So here the syntax is like okay invalid, that the reason in this case syntax error you can get it. While executing the program, while running the program, in the program each and every statement syntactically valid, then only it go to the next level, then only it's going to run the program. So if you not follow the rules and the guidelines, then that time you can get the syntax errors. What about runtime error? If my program is like syntactically 100% valid, okay, and then it is going to start the execution. While running the program, due to some reason, if my program terminated like abnormal, that time I can say, okay, you got like some runtime error. While executing the program, if you get any errors, those errors we can say like a runtime errors. Now, okay, syntactically here, no error, no, nothing. Okay, no errors, nothing. Syntactically 100% valid. Due to some logic, okay, due to, okay, some logic, due to some reasons, whatever the code you written, okay, in between only my program not, okay, my program got terminated abnormal. So whenever while running the program, if my program terminated abnormally, then I can understand like you got like some runtime error. So now you can define the exception. What is exception? You know, the runtime error, you can say like a, the runtime error we can say like a exception. While running or while executing the program, if you get an error, that runtime error, terminology wise I can say like a exception. Got my point? Okay, see, up to here, whatever the things we discussed, 4 or 5 points we discussed, right? Those 4 or 5 points common for any programming language. It is not only for Python. Okay, for JavaScript, same. Okay, for Java, it's like same. For .NET, okay, it's like say Python anyway. It's like same. Okay, normal termination, abnormal termination, syntax error, runtime error, what is exception? These definitions are like common for all. Now, whenever the exception raised, if you not to handle that exception properly, then that time always my program terminated like abnormal. Okay, there is no use of okay writing the remaining code. Why? Because that code is not execute in the middle itself, it is terminated or not. So whenever the exception raised, whenever runtime error came, as a developer, you should have to handle that particular runtime error or exception or not. If you handle that exceptions, you can say, okay, terminology wise, exception handling. Okay. For what purpose you are going to handle the exceptions? Now see here, this one only you can take it. At line number 3, you got like a runtime error or not. Line number 3, you got like a runtime error. What is my error? Location is not defined. LOC is not defined. Yes or no? So if you not handle that exception properly, start to one printed. Here my program terminated like abnormal. Okay, remaining statements will not execute or not. Okay, if you leave like this, fourth statement and fifth statement will never execute in their entire life or not. Fourth statement and fifth statement will never execute or not. So you want me to leave like this? Is it the recommended way? No, right? So what do you want me to do? Whenever the exception raised, you have to handle that exception properly and provide some graceful termination. Is nothing but normal termination you can provide it. Okay, it is like abnormal, right? Okay, these three, okay, this statement will not execute. So I want to provide some graceful termination to my program by handling these exceptions or not, by handling these runtime errors or not. Understood? Why? What is an exception? Why we go for exception handling? Exception is nothing but it's a runtime error. Because of this exception, because of this runtime error, my program terminated like abnormal. Why exception handling means if the program terminated abnormal, okay, there may be a chance of executing multiple statements or not, missing the execution of multiple statements or not. That's the reason what I have to do. If the exception rises, that's okay, fine. Whenever the exception rises, I want to handle that exception properly and provide the graceful termination to my program or not. Graceful termination means it's like a normal termination, not abnormal termination. Up to here, it is going to execute. Got my point? So by handling the exceptions, you can provide the graceful termination to your program. So my question is, now onwards, we are going to discuss up to here, common for any programming language. Now onwards, we are going to discuss like something specific to our Python. So my question is what? How to handle exceptions in Python. Exceptions in Python. Now the topic is like specific to Python. Up to here, common for any programming language. Now this particular, now onwards, it's specific to Python. The next one, how to handle the exceptions in JavaScript. Next one is like how to handle the exceptions in Java. Got my point? So how to handle the exceptions in Python or runtime errors in Python. If you want to handle the runtime errors in Python, there has some keywords over there. Using those keywords, we can handle the exceptions properly and provide the graceful termination to our program. Okay, which keywords we are going to use?
Try, catch, finally.
The next one, try. Okay, try.
Finally.
The catcher we are going to use in JavaScript and Java, but in Python we are going to use like expect is the block. Okay, try, expect, and finally. Okay, finally, and we are going to use the rise keyword also. Finally, okay, rise. Okay, these four keywords we are going to use in our programming, in our Python programming language to handle the exceptions. Got my point? So let's start. Okay, now if I run this code, exactly what happened? If I run this code, exactly what happened? If I run this statement, exactly what kind of error you can get it? Tell me. What exactly you can get it? Okay, location is not defined. Location is not defined. But here, see my start printed and my one printed, and then here you got one runtime error. Runtime error means exception. What is my exception? Okay, name location is not defined. Yes or no? Now my program terminated like normal or abnormal? My program normal or abnormal termination. Okay, you want me to leave like this? No. Okay, Whenever you exception raise, you have to handle that exception properly and provide the graceful termination. So how to handle the exceptions? There has some keywords are there: try, expect, and finally, and rise also. These keywords we can discuss one by one. So now first let's start with the try. Okay, first, try is a keyword. You know that. Okay, day one, we discussed about some keywords. Among those, okay, exception handling related keywords also we discussed or not. So, try is a keyword. Okay, now how we can use the try keyword means syntactically it's like a block. In the block, what kind of statements you can write? Okay, exception which statements are going to rise, that statements you can keep inside the try block. Okay, so problematic statements always better to write in the try block. Okay, so here there has 5 statements or there. Which statement is like a problematic statement? There has 5 statements or there. Which statement is like a problematic statement?
Line number.
Okay, okay, third one, right? Third one is your problematic statements or statement or not. So that particular statement where you want me to keep inside the try block. Okay, so can I keep inside the try block? Okay, how we can keep it? So you know that try is a keyword. You want me to use like put block. If I write like this, tell me syntactically is it valid or invalid?
It's in, I think, invalid because try doesn't have any statement to
It's
execute.
like invalid, right? Why? Because try is a block. Okay, in the block, at least you have to write one statement. If you don't have any statement, that's okay, fine. At least you can put like what?
Pass.
Pass. Okay, with the indentation. With the indentation. Okay, but you not mentioned anything, right? Okay, so pass not required for me. I want to keep some statements. We have the specific statements out there. I want to keep it. Which statement you want me to keep? The problematic statement. Here, which one is your problematic statement? Okay, this is our problematic statement or not? Yes or no? So if you come here, okay, print LOC. Okay, can I delete this? Okay, now can I run it? If I run this one, now my program not started the execution. Did you observe here? It's not run. It is having the syntax error or not. What is that syntax error? Expected, expect or finally block. That means what? Only try is not a valid syntax. Only try is not a valid syntax. If you have a try, that should follow, okay, either expect block or either finally block or not. Understood? In Python, if you write only try, it gives me syntax error. Okay, remaining languages also JavaScript, Java also same only, but just leave that one. Focus on Python. So whenever you write like a try block in Python, that try block should follows what? Either expect or either finally block. Okay, but here, okay, it's not follow. Okay, either expect or finally. That there is an, it gives me syntax error. So what do you want me to do? Both you can try. Okay, first which one you want me to try? Can I write like finally, for example? Okay, finally is a keyword. Syntactically, if you want to use that, it's like a block only. Can I write some statement? Okay, just for my understanding. Okay, just you can write like a finally. Now, if you run this one, what exactly the output was? Okay, what exactly the output? If you run this one, the exact output tell me.
Finally, 3 end.
Sorry?
Not 1. Finally, 3 end.
First tell me, it's like terminated like normal or abnormal?
Normal.
Any other answers? No. It's like terminated like abnormal. Now, if you come here, okay, no syntax error, no syntax error. My start printed, my one printed, okay, my try, okay, block executed. This statement line number 4. Now, line number 4, LOC, it is looking for LOC is there or not there?
Not there.
Not there. Okay, if it is not there, okay, now this exception you have to handle, right? But handling the exception, who can do it now? Okay, it's done by expect block. Okay, but expect block there or not there? handling exceptions. Okay, exception raised. Who can catch that exception? Expect block. Expect block there or not there?
Not there.
Not there. That the reason my exception raised, but you not handled. But if you observe here, the finally statement got executed or not? Finally statement got executed or not? Yes or no? Got my point? Okay, that means you can say, I'm going to write one more statement. Just you can compare this, that one. Okay, I'm going to write LOC equals to Mumbai. Okay, na? Now tell me, what's my output? What's my output? First, tell me, exception raised or not raised?
Not raised.
Exception not raised.
Not raised.
So my output is what? Start one. My try block. This particular statement is what? One
Right.
created, and that particular variable value printed. So exception not raised. So it is not looking for expect block. Okay, exception not raised. In the past, exception raised. Finally, block executed. Exception not raised. Finally, will execute or not execute. We'll see. Next 3 and end is going to print. Now, my program terminated like as normal. My start 1 and Mumbai finally again executed 3 and. That means what you can understand. What about the finally block? Come on, exception raised. My finally block executed. Exception not raised also, my finally block got executed or not. That means my finally block is executed whether exception is there or exception not there. It is always will execute or not. That's the reason. See, some of the common statements, exception raised, I want to execute those statements. Exception not raised also, I want to execute those statements. That kind of statements where you want me to keep it? In the finally block or yes or no? Got my point? Okay. Now, finally, I tried, but my exception not handled. My program terminated like normal or abnormal? My program terminated like normal or abnormal? Tell me.
Abnormal.
Right? Why? Because you are looking for expect block. The exception raised, I am looking for the expect block. So that, can I write that expect block? Okay. Now print. Okay. Just this message you can put it. Now what is the output? Is my program terminated like normal or abnormal if I run this? My program terminated like normal or abnormal if I run this?
Abnormal.
Hmm?
It's like
Normal.
normal only, but LOC is not defined. Yeah.
That means each and every statement starting to ending, okay, starting ending will execute or not?
Executed.
It will
Executed, right? That means I can say my program terminated like normal, right? It's a graceful termination only or not? In between something is happened, that's okay, fine. Okay, now output tell me. Start. One and exception raised. Looking for expect block there, so executed, and then exception raised or not raised finally is going to execute, and 3 and end. Now, if you come here, say start 1 expect block and finally 3 end. Okay, my program terminated like normal or not? Yes. That means you handle whatever the exception raised, you handle that exception or not? Yes, no? Now, I'm going to write like this. What's my output? What is my output? What do you think more? This concept is common for same JavaScript also. Same output you can get it. Same output you can get it. Start 1 exception raised. Whenever the try block, any statement raises an exception, immediately my try block execution terminated. Try block execution terminated. It looking for which block? It is looking for which block? Expect block or not. Okay, and then finally print print 3 and end. So this statement executed or not executed whenever exception raised?
not executed.
Not
Not
executed.
executed, right? not executed, right? So that this is the output. So I have some statements, yes or no, you can tell. Okay. So whatever the statements you write in the try block, okay, those statements at least initiate the execution. That at least my first statement it is going to execute or not. Whatever the statements, any number of statements, you can write it. At least one statement is going to execute or not in the try block. That statement may be raise an exception or whatever it is. Try block initiate the execution or not. In the
Yes.
try block, the
Yes, yes.
statements, okay, execution initiated or not. Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes. The same question for expect block. Yes, no. Expect
Yes,
block, whatever the
yes.
statements you read, okay, those statements are going to execute. At least one statement is going to execute. Yes, no.
Yes.
No, right. No, right. If the exception not raised, then the time expect block will execute. If exception not raised in the try block, the expect block is going to execute or not execute? No, right. It's not initiate the execution. Yes or no? What about the finally?
Fine.
Initiate the execution or not?
It will
Yes.
execute always.
Okay, it is going to initiate the execution or not? Okay. Each and every statement in the try block will execute. Yes, no.
No.
No, right. Okay. If whether exception raised, then the time it's terminated the execution. If the exception not raised, then the time that's okay. Each and every statement will execute or not. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now there may be a chance of exception raised again in the expect block. Possibility there or not there?
Yes, there.
There.
Yes, there, right. Okay. Expect block or try block, it is not a matter. There has one statement is there. That statement may raise an exception or not. Yes or no. Okay, if I write something like this, now tell me. If I write something like this, then what happens? Is my program terminated like normal or abnormal?
It's abnormal.
Normal.
It's abnormal, right? It's abnormal. Okay. Why? Because name is not defined. Okay. Somewhere you can see name is not defined. The exception you can see here or not. Yes or no? Agreed? Clear, okay, everyone? Okay. Okay then. Now valid combination. Tell me. Try. Okay, I'm going to write here. Okay. Only try valid combination or not. Invalid, right? Try with expect. Valid or invalid? Only try expect.
Valid.
Valid. Okay, try with finally. Valid or invalid? Combination is valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Valid. Valid. Okay, not handle exception, but a combination is valid. Syntax errors you will not get. Okay, try finally and expect. Valid combination or invalid combination? Valid combination or invalid combination?
Valid.
Invalid. Try finally is valid. Try expect is valid. Okay, try finally, if you write up to here, it's done. Okay, one cycle. Okay, done. Now only expect is there. It is looking for what? Expect is looking for what? Try. But try is there or not there? No, right. So that it's a syntax error. Now can you check it? Now if I write this particular finally here. Okay. If I write like here, then the time you can get the syntax error. Now say this invalid syntax or not. Why? Because try with finally is valid combination, but only expect it's invalid or not. Yes or no? Okay, it is valid and this is invalid. And this is what? Invalid. Okay, na? The next one. Try, expect, and final. Valid or invalid?
Valid.
It's valid, right? It is valid. Okay, na? Any questions so far? Okay then. Now come here. What happened? What happened? If I run this one, what happened? Is my program will execute or not execute? It's terminated like normal or abnormal or syntax error? What? Syntactical 100% valid. It's like a exception raised. What is this exception? Oh, can you read this one? Print 10 by 0. See this? 0 division error, division by 0. Okay. Can I keep this one aside for now? Can I keep this one somewhere? Okay. Now I'm going to write like now
It's not defined.
what is that error? I mean content error.
Name is gone.
An error.
Name is not defined, right? Can I keep this one? Okay, na? Now, valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Huh?
Invalid.
Invalid, right? Invalid. What is that? A is not callable, right? Valid or invalid? Can I convert Sachin into integer? Can I convert Sachin into integer? Tell me. Can I convert Sachin into integer? No, no. Okay. If I write like this, it's valid, right? It's valid or not? Okay. If you observe this, okay, 0 division error is there, name error, type error, value error. Okay, this is, I can say, the exception information, right? Okay, there has 2 sections, you can say, overall 3 sections, stat trace also, you can, where exactly the exception rise at the line number and everything. But important, these 2, if you observe, okay, 0 division error is there, name error is there, type error is there, value error is there, like this, error. What is this error first? What is this error? This 0 division error, name error, type error. What is the type? These are like a predefined, user defined. What is this type?
Predefined.
Okay, can we check it first? Okay, now can you come here, open command prompt. Okay, go to Python environment. Okay, now if I write something like this, what is this? If I something like this, if I write name not is not defined, that means this member I'm not defined. At the same time, it's looking inside the Python library. In the Python library also, this name is not there. Then only, right? It is going to raise an exception like this. This no name is not defined like that. Here, my 0 division error, I'm not defined. I didn't, but still it is not throwing any error and it is showing something like this. That means my 0 division error is what?
It's a predefined
It's a predefined, a member whose type is what?
class.
Class type.
It's a class, right? It's a class. Okay? Okay, perfect. Now, I need some answers from you. Okay? Now, if I write like this, you already know that one. Which kind of exception raised the 0 division error? Okay, this is the class, I know that. This is my exception information or not. Okay, my program terminated like normal or abnormal? My program terminated like normal or abnormal?
Normal.
Can you provide some graceful termination to this program? Can you
Yes.
provide? Yeah, let's go then. Okay, what do you want me to do? Right?
Try.
Right. Except
Just you can type like this. Try. Can I keep this? Okay, and then
Expect.
expect. Can I write like something like this? Expect block. Okay. Now my program. Okay, my program terminated like normal or abnormal now?
Now.
normal termination.
Normal termination. Okay. Now, what kind of exception raised? Just as a developer, okay. If you see this one, I don't know. Exception raised, I know that, but what kind of exception raised? I don't know. So, can we print some exception message also?
Yes.
Those are may not required, but as a developer, I want to see the logs and everything. So, how we can print that exception message? That is the question. How we can
Except
print?
block.
Second.
In except block.
The expect block. How you want me to print? How you want me to print?
Except will give some parameter.
Yeah. Okay. Expect block. The syntax, two ways we can handle. One is like, okay, expect, okay, it's not follow any kind of values, okay, any kind of reference. Another one is like my expect follows your exception classes. So expect, which exception raised? You know that now. Which exception raised? Zero, a division error or not. Okay, it's like, see, multiple syntax you can see. Now, if I write like this, is it valid syntax or invalid syntax first? Is it like valid syntax or invalid syntax? Can I run it? If I don't know, just run it. What happened? Valid, right? Syntactically, it's valid or not? So expect is not follow anything that is valid. Expect follows your exception class that is also valid. But at this moment, this is valid, but my requirement is what? Exception message I want to know. Huh? So how we can get that exception message? How we can get that exception message? It's exception class. Exception class. If I print this one, what happened? Nothing happened. Okay, if I print it, what happened? Okay, if I print this one, okay, it's like a class 0 division error, something like that, you can get it. Okay, this is not mine. My requirement is the message. If I see this message, at least I can come to know, oh, somewhere, okay, the value is divided by 0, like that I can come to know. For that, there has one more syntax is there. What you know, you can give the reference for this particular, okay, class. Okay, now you can give any name, okay, exception, for example. Now, if I write like this, now if you come here, now see start the exception message, you can get a division by 0 and my program terminated like normal or abnormal. Come on, my program terminated like normal or abnormal?
Normal.
Normal, right? Now my straight question, what is this EX? What is the type? Hmm? What is the type? Okay, if you don't know, don't worry. Type, can I write like this? I want to know something type of 0 division error. You know that type. What is the type of 0 division error?
Yes.
It's a class. Okay. Now I'm going to write like the same way the type of EX also. Okay. The type of EX also. The type of EX. Can we run it? Yeah. By seeing this one, just you can let me know. What is that? Hmm? Come on. What is that? If you see this one type of 0 division error, if you get like class type, I already told to you. Okay. Oops concepts. Okay. That time, if you see the type, class type, that is a class. So my 0 division error is what? It's a
Class.
class. If you find some type, okay, if you get the answer is like class, some class name, that is an object of that particular class or not? Yes, no. Come on. So my EX, it's a reference. It is an object of which class? It is an object of which class? Zero division error class or not? It is an object of zero division error class or not? So my question is, my zero division error is a class, right? Yes, no. If it is a class, there has some member should be there or not? Yes or no? So how many members are there in the zero division error class? Tell me. How many members are there in the zero division error class?
dir of zero division.
dir of zero division error class. Now can you come here? Zero division error. Now if you observe here in my zero division error, there has multiple methods, underscore means magic methods are there. Those you can leave it for now. Add underscore note one method, args one method, with track back. Okay, like this multiple methods are there or not there. So what is the purpose of these methods? We'll see. If you have an object, can I call these methods? What it is going to give? Can we check it? Just for our information purpose. Can we? If you have an object of this particular class, can I call the members of a class with that object or not? Possibility there or not there? Yes or no? So what do you want me to do? Come on.
Ex dot add.
Ex dot, what is that?
Add node.
Add a node. What is this add node? I'm going to write like a method only. Okay, we'll see. Print ex dot, what is that? Args. Okay, print ex dot, what is that? With traceback. Okay, now can we run it? So zero division error, take exactly one argument. There has something like this. Division by zero. Okay, that means it's not handled exception. In the try block itself, there has again exception raised or not. Okay, where the exception raised, maybe this statement. Can we run it? Okay, tuple object is not callable. Okay, tuple object is not callable. Okay, now can we run it? What happened? Take exactly one argument. Now tell me, by seeing this one, add node is okay, with track back is okay. These two are like take exactly how many arguments? One argument, but you provided like zero. But this particular one, okay, this args is which type? This args is which type? By seeing this one, you only tell. Okay, it is which type? Is not callable is nothing but this one is not a function, but you're trying to call it. That means this is the method, it's a variable in the class, zero division error. It's a variable, right? It's a variable or not? Yes or no? Okay, that variable is which type? As he said, tuple type. Okay, the information you have. So these methods we are going to use. Don't worry about this one. We can implement, okay, our own class. There we are going to use these methods. How to? But okay, for now you can come to know like this is okay. This is my exception class. Okay, if you want to print it, the exception information, yes, you can print like this or not. So in Python, whenever the exception rises, that particular exception belongs to one class or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
It belongs to one class or not? Okay, in the expect block, that class object is available to you or not? Yes or no? That means whenever the exception rises, the corresponding class it find and it is going to create an object for that particular class or not? Yes, no?
Yes.
Am I created anywhere ex equals to zero division error call like that? No. No. Whenever the exception raised, It find that particular exception class and he created an object. If you want, you can use that object or not. Yes or no? Understood? Up here, okay? In Python, any exception you can take. That exception is like one class or not. In the expect block, whenever exception rise, find the exception class and then create an object for that particular class or not. Yes? No.
But how can I identify my exception belongs to this particular class?
This one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That time, what you have to do is don't handle the exception. Then that time, it is going to give this message or not. First time, don't handle it if you want to know. Okay, if you not handle, then the time my program terminated like abnormal as a developer, no problem. Whenever the program terminated like abnormal, you can come to know like what? Okay, this is my class name or not. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so whenever you have the class name in the expect block, just you can add your class. Okay? Okay
Yes.
or not?
Sir, if there is a possibility of getting more than one type of exception, then how we can handle?
Yeah, then that time, okay, we have multi-expect blocks also possible. You can write like multi-expect blocks. Okay, so if you write something like this, print, okay, name, print name. Now, can anyone tell me what exactly the output was? If I run this one, exact output, what is the output? Can anyone guess?
Start.
Yeah, start. Okay. Exception raised here. Okay, whenever exception raised, don't think about the remaining statements. Immediately terminated. Looking for which block?
Excellent.
Except
Block. Okay, the exception type is what? What kind of exception it was? Zero division error. So it is looking for the zero division error. There or not there?
There.
If now it is not normal expect block, it is like what? Specific expect block you return. Zero division error. So the zero division error is there. So this message is going to print and then print end. So this is the one. Okay. Program terminated like normal or abnormal? Normal. Now tell me. Come on. Now tell me.
start will print first, then
Printed. Next.
5.
5 printed. Next.
exception rises.
Exception right. What is that exception?
Is not defined.
Name error.
Name error.
Name error. Name error is there or not there?
Not
You
there.
have expect block first. Looking for the expect block there. But this expect block is specific to which error to handle? Zero division error. But any other expect blocks are there for name error? No, right? If no, then the die my exception raised but not handled. So my program terminated like what? Abnormal.
Yep.
Not. Yes or no? Now you can come to know, right? Name error. So
Yes.
can I write one more expect block? For what? Specific to name error you want, huh? Can I write name error? Yes. Okay, like this. Can I print my exception message? Okay, now can I run it? See this. Start 5.0 and name exception raised. Looking for the expect block. It's specific to zero division, but I'm looking for what? Name error. Name error is there or not there? Name error is there or not there? Yes, there. So that name is not defined printed and end printed or not. Yes or no? Got my point? Now what happened? Now what happened?
Exception rises at line number 4. and
Program
it goes
terminated like normal or abnormal? Simply.
abnormal, sir.
No. See, here exception raised. It will never go to this statement, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Got it.
Yes or no? the program terminated abnormal here. Okay, line number 4 exception raised. Looking for what? Expect block. Okay, with what? Name error. Yes, there. So that one is going to execute. Yes, no. So here my name is like Dhoni. Now tell me. Terminated like
Abnormal.
abnormal, right? Terminated like abnormal. Why? Because okay, up to here, okay, no exception, nothing. Okay, int Sachin, it is looking for which error? Value error, but the value error is not handled. Not handled. So can I write something like this? Expect, okay, expect print exception raised. Will it work or not work? Will it work or not work? Syntactically valid or invalid? Syntactically valid or invalid? 100% valid. 100% valid. It is not specific to any. Okay, that means it can handle any kind of exception or not. Yes or no? It can handle any kind of exception or not. Okay, now tell me what is the answer? Exception raised or zero division error? Exception raised or zero division error? Okay, that means this one or this one, which one is going to execute?
Exception raised.
No.
Oh, sorry. Zero division error.
Zero division. Why? Because it is looking for the zero division specific one there or not there. Yes, there. If it is there, okay, that is only handle. If it is not there, then the limits go to expect block or not. So now, if I write something like this, okay, is it valid syntax or invalid syntax?
Valid syntax. Valid.
Syntactically invalid. Why? Because whenever you write like multi expect blocks, okay, this is the last one. Why? Because in the switch case, how the default is going to work, if not okay there, then only it is go to there, that one, right? See, if I write like expect first only, okay, that means first executable statement here in the first line, okay, in the sequence order first, it can handle any kind of exception or not. Yes or no? Then what is the use of these? Yes or no? In the sequence order only, it is going to check. If it is handle any kind of exception, why we go for line number 9 and 14? Yes or no? Okay, that the reason default expector must be where? Must be in the last. Whenever you write multi-expect blocks in your program, make sure that default expect is always in the last. It can handle any. If I write here only first, then the type, the exception zero division error will not come here. First order, if this one only there, it can handle. Then what is the use of these statements? There is no use, right? That the reason default expect block always you have to write in the last. So multi-expect blocks possible or not possible? Yes, you can write. Whenever you write like multi-expect blocks in your Python program, make sure the order is important. The default expect block always must be in the last. Okay, na? All agreed? Any questions so far? Okay, then remaining things we'll see in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow, how we can create our own exception, how to raise an exception, okay, how to use these add nodes, orgs, and with track trace, these methods, how to use it, we will see in tomorrow's session. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.